Hi, Suzy Rhoades with PassMasters here with this week's questions of the week. This week, our topic will be Section 2 from Series 6 or Series 7. We are going to take a section exam. Let's check out our learning management system. Which of the following is not true regarding Form CRS? So, Customer Relationship Summary. It may be as long as necessary. No, it must be written in plain English. Yes, I like that. It must include specific information as required by law. Yes, that's also true. The information must be true and accurate. So the correct answer, we're looking for the not true statement. It may be as long as necessary. You click what you believe is the right answer. You get it right if you get that green check mark. You click show explanation and you read about Form CRS. It can be no longer than 2 pages. It is true, however, if the firm is both a broker-dealer and an investment advisor, it can be up to 4 pages. But under the broker-dealer rules, only 2. If you want to listen, all of our questions have which of the following is not audio explanations. That's to appeal to our auditory learners. Under Regulation S-P, when must the firm's privacy notice be given out? When the customer relationship is established. I like that. But I do urge you caution never to pick the first answer that you like. Always read all 4 choices. When the customer relationship is established and annually thereafter. See, that's a better choice. Every 6 months or quarterly, no. So when the customer relationship is established and annually thereafter. Regulation S-P has to do with customers' privacy, the privacy notice, the practices of the firm related to customers' confidential information. When using the capital needs analysis to determine how much life insurance a person should have, which is not considered. So there's 2 different ways in general to determine how much life insurance someone needs. There is the human life value approach, and there is the capital needs approach. So let's look at our choices. Not considered when using capital needs. Income for the survivors for a reasonable period of time. I would consider that. Paying off the client's mortgage and other debts. I like that. Tuition needs of the children. Yes. How much money the person will earn in their lifetime. That is not considered using the capital needs approach. Using the human life value, then you would use how much money the person will earn in their lifetime. So just 2 different points of view in determining the life insurance needs of your client. Upon Marty's death, his son Henry inherits shares of NTDOF, it's Nintendo. Marty purchased these shares at $200 in February 2017. As of his date of death, the shares were valued at $300 each. What is Henry's cost basis? So you're a detective. You're going to determine were the shares inherited or were they gifted, because there's 2 different tax rules. If they were gifted, then Henry would assume the original cost basis and holding period. But they weren't gifted. They were inherited. So that Henry's cost basis is the fair market value as of date of death. So $300 would be his cost basis. When he sells those shares, regardless of his holding period, so whether or not he sells them in 6 months or 6 years, the gain would be treated as a long-term capital gain. When the time horizon is long, a client can afford to take on. So time horizon is the length of time the money will remain invested. The longer the time horizon, the more risk the client can take on. Let's see what our choices are. Less risk, double the average risk, the same amount of risk they would if they had a short time horizon, or more risk. The longer the time horizon, the more risk the client can afford to take on. Which of the following would be allowed under Regulation S-P? Sharing a client's NPI within days of opening up the new account. So NPI is non-public information. I don't like that. We're looking for what's allowed. Requiring the client to pay a fee to opt out of sharing. No. Sharing a client's NPI with a non-affiliated third party after the new account has been opened and the client has been given a reasonable amount of time to opt out of the sharing. That seems okay. Let's see the last choice, requiring the client to write a letter to the firm requesting to opt out of the sharing. No, that's not reasonable. Who writes letters anymore? Nobody ever does. So you should be able to opt out by clicking a box on the internet or by calling a phone number. So which would be allowed under Regulation S-P, sharing a client's non-public information with a non-affiliated third party, but not until after the account has been opened for a little while. The client's been given a reasonable time to opt out. Regarding taxability of distributions from qualified plans, which statement is correct? Withdrawals are taxable as ordinary income. I do like that. Qualified plans are funded with pre-tax dollars. Distributions are taxable at long-term capital gains rates. No. Earnings are taxable each year. No, they're tax deferred. Early withdrawal penalties apply to withdrawals made prior to 59 and a half, not age 72. So the correct answer of these is withdrawals are taxable as ordinary income. So a Roth 401k, I would not put under this rule, of course, but a 401k, I would. So when the question is talking about a qualified plan, I would always think of those that are funded with pre-tax dollars. Earnings will be taxable as ordinary income upon withdrawal. There is the 10% penalty if the withdrawal is under age 59 and a half, unless an exception to the penalty applies. Bob and Karen own property tenants in common. Which of the following statements is true? The asset must be owned equally. No, tenants in common can have unequal ownership. If Bob dies first, his interest will pass to Karen. No, if they wanted that, they would have wanted it to be joint tenants with right of survivorship. Whoever dies first, their interest will not pass to the survivor. That is true. Their interest will go to their estate. If Karen dies first, her interest will pass to Bob. That is false. So tenants in common is the type of joint ownership that can have unequal ownership. And then when a tenant dies, their interest passes on to their estate. A firm's supervisory procedures must include which of the following related to customer complaints? I call these STEM questions. I always suggest writing 1, 2, 3, 4 on your scratch paper and then writing A, B, C, D because you can't write on the computer screen. And then it becomes one question that's really 4 questions in one. It's a true-false question. So 1, procedures to capture customer complaints. That seems reasonable. So 1 is part of the correct answer. You can get rid of A. You can get rid of D. 2, procedures to acknowledge customer complaints. Yes, they better acknowledge customer complaints. So 2 is part of the only 2 choices that were left. 3 is also part of the 2 choices that were left, but let's read it. Procedures to respond to customer complaints. Yes. So the question would be, is 4 part of the correct answer? Procedures to ignore customer complaints. No. So the correct answer includes 1, 2, and 3. So use that advice with your STEM questions. A lot of students get really anxious related to STEM questions, these multiples. But if you do it this way, you will learn to love them. It's true. Which would be best for a portfolio seeking capital appreciation? So we're looking for growth. Corporate bonds, U.S. government securities, growth stock, or cash? If you put cash in the closet and you come and check it out 10 years later, has it grown? No. Growth stock of these choices is the best for a portfolio seeking capital appreciation. Suitability requirements apply to all transactions, to solicited transactions only when the client is new, or to unsolicited transactions only. So, suitability means that you are going to make a recommendation to buy or sell or hold a security to a client when it's in their best interest, when it matches with things like their investment objective, their risk tolerance. So they can call you, that's called an unsolicited transaction, and they can purchase whatever they want. But if you call them and make a recommendation to buy, sell, or hold a security, suitability requirements apply. So to solicited transactions only. That's it for this week's Questions of the Week. The topic was Section 2 of the content outline for Series 6 or Series 7. If you have any questions related to this information, just ask me in the comments below. Be sure to give this video a thumbs up, subscribe to our channel, and turn those notifications on. If you'd like to check out PassMasters course offerings or to enroll in any of our programs, there is a link found in this video's description. Thank you so much for watching. I hope to have you as a student soon. Keep up the good work. Happy studies.
You got this.